Welcome to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast, where we seek to thrive, flourish, and celebrate amazing women. I am Kimberly Wiggins, and we are hosting inspired women who are sharing their lives and their stories so that other women may know that the journey to their amazing life is definitely within reach. We are here every week to share resources and information that will help you along the journey to being that inspired woman leading an amazing life. Check out our new segment, Marriage, a Mindset and Marketing series, every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, where we are doing live coaching. Yes, you heard me, live coaching with a business owner and a mindset and marketing coach to experience the intersection of business success. Be sure to listen in, as there's always takeaways for every new and seasoned business owner. Remember to like and comment, and most definitely share these episodes with another woman that you admire and one who truly inspires you, or simply share with someone you would like to inspire. Enjoy! Welcome to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast, where we work very hard to bring you great, inspired women who will really make a difference in your life. These are tips and advice and resources that you can reach out to as you see what other inspired women are doing. And today I have a huge treat for you. This woman is so amazing. I am so just blown away by her. Miss Tishia Lee, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now, Tishia Lee is the owner of Shining Self, and she is a sassy, fun-loving, plus-size gal that believes all bodies are beautiful and all women should feel confident and comfortable in their skin. She is on a mission to inspire and empower women through sharing her journey with body positivity and self-love. Oh my gosh, this is going to be such a good conversation today, Tishia. Ooh,
I could talk about it all day. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yes. Now, I always start with the story. Tell us your story. What brought you on this journey to this place?
Oh my gosh. Well, to sum it up, I started at a very early age back in middle school hating my body. I was developing the chest area before other girls in the class. That was the first thing that I noticed was different, but I was also in a bigger body. I was not fat back then, but compared to like other girls in my class, I was definitely chubby. So noticing around 6th grade how different my body is, I began to hate my body because I just wanted to look like all the other thin girls. And then I went to a doctor who was doing like a sports physical type checkup so I could play sports. And all of a sudden, this medical professional is kind of reiterating that there's something wrong with my body because I was told you'll never be thin. You have an athlete's body. You have thick thighs and broad shoulders. Maybe that was, maybe that was supposed to be a compliment. I don't know. And so that like whole journey of hating myself started at a very early age, back in 6th grade. That's also when I went on my first diet. Just all sorts of negative influence from people around me, family included. I was always the girl with the pretty face, but if you would only lose weight. So I literally spent my entire life up until probably 4 or 5 years ago hating myself, hating my body, always constantly dieting. I've been a binger and a purger. I've done starvation. You name the diet, I've done it. I've done Weight Watchers. I tried Jenny Craig. Literally, I have done every single thing out there. So that's just a little bit of a backstory. And how Shining Self came about was I'm also an alcoholic. when I walked through the doors of AA, I was still at that point that I was hopeless. I hated myself. And there was two options. I figured this out or I killed myself. Obviously, I did not kill myself. Thank you, Jesus, because I'm sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
But as I began to do that work, the inner work started too. So Shining Self came about because when I finally started to catch a glimpse of my true shining self, that's when I suddenly stopped settling for less. When I say settling for less, I was not that I was living like a horrible life, because I had a roof over my head, food on the table, clothes on my back. But what I mean by that is I didn't value myself. I believed any attention from a man was better than no attention, and especially as a big woman. So I felt that I didn't deserve to have a man that truly loved me. I thought a man loved me if they were sleeping with me. But once I began to do all that inner work and change myself, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I deserve so much freaking more out of life. I deserve so much more out of a relationship. So that's a little long-winded, but that's kind of like the whole story behind Shining Self.
Oh my. Tisha, you have said, women, I hope that you're listening, because Tisha has said so many golden nuggets in there. And Tisha and I have been kind of like Facebook friends for a long time. And we just recently met at a conference together. And Tisha is, from the inside out, Tisha is an amazing, amazing person. I mean, you can just feel the love that comes off of her when you meet her. And even on Facebook, I mean, just knowing her all these years on Facebook. And so, Tisha, I mean, wow, that is quite a journey. And thank you for being so honest about that. I hope that your honesty blesses someone else in that journey for them today. Yeah, really. So you kind of touched on what the inspiration was behind the business name Shining Self. Do you want to elaborate on that some more?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I touched on it. And the reason like that all came about was because suddenly I was like, and not that I like try to brag on myself, but sometimes we do have to toot our own horn, right? Because
Yes,
nobody
girl,
else
you
is
are
going to do
brag
it.
worthy. You are brag worthy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it just started as like I wanted to blog and share like all these new experiences that I was having, because for so long, like I didn't know who I was. Like I was such a people pleaser and just doing everything to please everybody else around me. Suddenly, when I'm finally learning like my true authentic self and coming into like who I am as a woman and just starting to live like this amazing life, I was like, dang, I want to start sharing these stories. And then it turned into, well, I've always believed that I'm a Christian. So I've always believed that like God can turn my messes into messages.
Yes.
So then it became well, I feel like I'm bragging on myself a little bit by sharing all these experiences. But then I turned it around and I was like, no, I believe that I'm still here for a reason. I have a story to share. I have a voice for maybe other women that were living like I was living, that didn't have a voice and didn't, know who they were. So then the inspiration behind Shining Self was, I'm here to share a message. If I can be open, honest, and authentic, because I'm pretty much an open book.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed or embarrassed to talk about, the things that I've been through in my past. And it just became if I can just reach one woman and I can let that woman feel just a little bit of hope or inspiration or love, or like they're not alone, then everything I have been through has so freaking been worth it.
Yes.
So now that's the whole inspiration behind Shining Self, is I just truly I want my voice to be heard, but not because I want it to be like, oh, Tisha, you're so amazing and awesome, but because I want to touch those other women. You know, I go back to, I've been in the AA program for 8 years. And I go back to when I first went in there, and, you know, had those women not been open and authentic and shared their stories, I don't know that I would be sober today and where I am. So, you know, I think about that and I'm like, okay, that just gives me even more reason to be, you know, authentic in sharing my voice and my message. So it's really just about, I want to touch at least one other woman because I want them to know that there's hope, love, and transformation out there and that they can have it.
Absolutely. And Tisha, it's about impact. And when you impact one person, they go out and impact someone else. And people are able to see what you do. You know, my whole big theme for this show, Tisha, is to make a choice, to share your voice, and to be an inspiration. And I must say, that is exactly what you do. And that is amazing. Wow.
Can I touch on that really quick? Because something just popped into my head.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about Kelly. Kelly is our business coach. Some of you listening and watching may know who we're talking about, but I go back to, I was in Atlanta, Georgia with her for an extended period of time back in May 2018. I have this fear of heights. We were staying at, I think it's the Westin Hotel. I don't remember, but they have a glass elevator. You can ride all the way to the top to get to the restaurant. And Kelly said something at that point in my life, because I was afraid to ride that glass elevator to get to the top of the floor to that restaurant. But I decided that I was going to do it because I knew that once I got up there, like the views were going to be amazing. Well, because I was willing to face that fear, it also opened the door and like gave permission to another one of our friends, Nicole Dean, who also, you know, does not like heights. So by me being willing and open to face that, it invited Nicole to also decide, okay, well, I'm going to do it with them. So
Nice.
That whole, you know, when we're doing something and like facing our fear or sharing our story, I really believe it really does. It's exactly like what Kelly said. When we're doing that, it's inviting and giving other people permission to step up and do the same. And I think that's so important.
Right. Because when you are open and honest about that and you're sharing it with other people, you're right. It is an invitation. It's inviting them to, hey, I've done it. I'm happy to walk through it with you. Come on, let's just do it. I wish I were there with you ladies when that happened, because I'm afraid of heights too.
There is some video footage on Facebook. It's humorous. I can laugh now, but yeah, it's so good. And I really do believe that, like I said, you know, when we're stepping into ourself and facing our fears and doing something that makes us uncomfortable, it opens that door for everybody around us to do it too.
Yes, absolutely. That is being bold and courageous. I love it. So one of the things you said is that helping hurting women, this is what you do. You're helping hurting women catch a glimpse of their true shining self so they won't settle for less. Tell us how you do that.
Well, I do that by, like I mentioned, sharing, you know, my story, my journey, just being open and authentic with new things that I'm trying. I'm also doing some coaching and group coaching. And then my newest venture is Your Shining Self podcast that's launching next month. Because I was like, okay, I'm tired of talking about myself all the time. Like, I want to shine the light on some other women. So that podcast is obviously part of Shining Self and the whole sharing stories of hope, love, and transformation. I'm going to be doing that there as well, and just shining the light on other women that have been through some things in their life that are going to leave listeners feeling hope, love, and transformation.
Yes, that's really, really nice. That's huge. And Tisha, this is the thing. I'll tell you why I think what you do is so important. Because there are a lot of other women in your who've almost walked a similar journey as yourself. And they don't feel as comfortable talking to someone who may not have, you know?
Exactly.
So you being an open and honest coach, being able to coach through their emotions and their feelings, because I'm huge on being able to manage your emotions. We all have it. We all have emotions, but when we're able to manage them, then we become better versions of ourselves. So that's why I think what you're doing is just so important on so many levels. And I say, that we go through different experiences in life just to have the ability to share them with someone else who needs it. And so kudos to you. I really love that. Oh,
Thank
wow.
you. And, going back to what you said about maybe not being able to share with somebody that hasn't been through it. I think back to my AA journey and my sobriety journey. There was a couple people in my life that I could talk to throughout, this journey of being an alcoholic and learning to live a sober life. Kelly is one of them, and then also my best friend. But neither one of them are alcoholics. So they don't they listen and they're very supportive, but they totally don't get it. So I think it's really important, like you said, that we do have people in our lives that have been through it. Oh, my dog. I'm so sorry.
So cute.
Being able to have somebody that has been through it that totally gets what we're going through, because I wouldn't be here where I am today had there not been other women in the recovery program that have went through the things that I've went through to get to where they are. So I totally agree with that.
Yes, absolutely. Now, we need to take a quick break here for a short commercial, and we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're talking about body shaming. Stay tuned.
Rosie Batista here, the Queen of Card Decks, at your command. Well, not really, but kind of. You want to make a deck of cards for your business? Your wish is my command. I fell in love with card decks years ago, collected them and started making them for myself and my own brand. Then I started to make them for other people's businesses. And now I have a self-study course where I teach you how to create your own card deck. It's 6 easy modules with easy to understand how-to videos, an active and exciting private Facebook group, 2 live components which include an open Q&A and open office hours so you can come in and get what you need. I want you to become queen of your domain, rule your niche, and rein in extra money. A card deck is the perfect way to do that with a really fun and useful physical product. For 2019, the cost is only $247 for all of that. I take the stand that nobody gets out of my course without their own card deck. I sure hope to see you there. Come on over to queenofcarddecks.com and check it all out.
Okay, so we're back, and body shaming. I want to talk to you, Tisha, about that. What is this thing about body shaming? What is that all about? It's a term that's been thrown around. I've heard it for quite some time.
Well, for me personally, obviously, I'm a big girl. So I can only speak on experience as a big girl, the body shaming that I have been through. But it also happens to thin people, tall people, short people. I mean, it happens way more frequently than it should. But and it just blows my mind, because for me, like, if I see a stranger that looks different than like I think somebody should look, I would never like say something to them. So I'm always amazed, like people feel it's okay to comment on my weight. Oh my gosh, I could tell you so many stories about body shaming. I remember several years ago, and I was thinner back then than I am now. I was out riding my bike. I was out being physically active, and there was a car full of teen boys that drove by, and they're yelling out the window, "Get off the bike before you pop the tires." Like,
Oh,
just like
really?
that's one instant. Yeah. In the grocery store, putting chips or cookies or something in the cart, and somebody commenting about, you shouldn't be buying that. Um,
Oh,
but I don't know that that's specific body shaming, but there have been times when like I've worn like leggings and been told, fat girls don't wear leggings because it just doesn't look good. Your thighs are
really?
flabby. Oh yeah, like I've been told I shouldn't wear shorts because my thighs are too flabby. And interestingly, that was all stuff when I was like younger and thinner. So it was like, okay, that's so weird that at that point in life, when all that stuff was being said, I was way smaller than I am now. But just, I don't understand whether you're thin, tall, short, skinny, whatever. And of course, that comes into even like with race. People comment about that all the time too. I just don't like understand why people think it's okay to comment on others' bodies. It's my body. It is not up for discussion unless I choose
That's
to
right.
let it be up for discussion. So, and that came into like when I started to like love myself. And it was actually a yoga instructor who a year ago, when I moved out here to the Pacific Northwest, she said, I'm bawling my eyes off as I'm laying on the floor of this yoga class, because she did this little thing before the actual yoga started. And she was like, I just want you to know you have permission to take up space just as you are, fat and all. And I just, for the first time in my life, all of a sudden, I have permission. Not that I ever needed permission, but for whatever reason, that is exactly what I needed to hear. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to diet. I don't have to be thin because I'm okay just the way I am. So that was literally the first time when I was like, okay, and screw all these rules about fat girls not wearing leggings or, sundresses, because I've got what I call the bat wings. You're supposed to hide all that.
I got some
And
too.
I proudly flap those bat wings now. But suddenly it just became, my body is my body. And newsflash, people, I am not going to be any smaller if I stinking cover my body in hoodie sweatshirts and baggy, sweatpants. I am the
Right.
same stinking size if I cover my body or I wear a sundress that my, bat wings are flapping around.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I don't even technically know what body shaming is, other than when people are commenting on my body and others' bodies and they don't have permission to do it. Like, I think that's body shaming.
And you're probably right. I mean, and I was on the other spectrum of that, Tisha. I was the skinny girl, but I was so skinny that I was like just so skinny and then tiny, And so kids would tease me in school because I was so skinny and I was so tiny. And then I think the thing about people commenting is that this is my thought about people commenting when they don't have permission and you didn't ask them, that there is something so messed up and so wrong in their own lives that they would rather make you feel bad about something in your life than fix what's wrong in their life.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I try to remind myself, sometimes I still react like if a comment is said, because comments still are said to me. They just don't affect me as bad as they used to. But I try to remind myself that, somebody that is commenting, like you just said, there's something going on in their life. a hurting person says mean things.
Yes.
So when I try to remind myself of that and be like, okay, I don't know what they're going through in their life. I don't know. Heck, I don't even know what they went through, 5 minutes before they're making this comment. So when I think of that, it's a little easier to kind of just take things with a grain of salt. But whether you're big or thin, like what people say, it's so hard to like ignore it. I remember back to, oh gosh, probably like elementary school, that stupid saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's such a crock of crap because words do hurt. Like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
They do. They do. And, I, of course, people will always have comments. And when they comment to me on something I really don't care about, or I didn't ask them about, I just tell them, and I love you too.
That's a good one. I'll have to remember that.
and every time I say that, Tishia, they really don't know what to say. They're looking at me like, what just happened? And
yep.
And I just walk off. I love you too. And so at least it makes me feel better inside, and then I'm not really just sitting there thinking about the comment. At least I gave out some love and it makes me feel good. So absolutely. So Tishia, I know you have done just, from being in that group with you, I know you've done some interesting things like plus size modeling. How exciting was that? Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh. So back when I was younger, I don't know if it's every girl's dream, but when I was younger, modeling was always like, oh my gosh, that's so glamorous and that's so cool. I want to model. But again, it was fat girls don't model. So I gave up on that idea, for a long time. And I even had people tell me again that, well, you have such a pretty face. If you would only lose weight, you could probably model. But anyways, after I got moved out here a little over a year ago, I saw, I believe it was on probably Facebook, because that's where I spend a majority of my time. I saw an open casting call for plus size models. And I just instantly just got this bubble up excitement, oh my gosh, this is my opportunity. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm freaking putting myself out there and I'm going to this casting call. Nervous wreck. Didn't wear heels. Maybe once or twice I wore heels in my life, but I've never been a high heel type of girl. So I go to this open casting call, and I'm having to walk this pretend runway that they have set up, wearing heels, pretty much for the first time in my life, and not having a clue how a model is supposed to walk or if they're supposed to smile or be serious. And well, I love to smile, so it's hard for me to have a serious face anyways, but I'm pretty much tripping over my own 2 feet. The heels are big on me, so they're one of them is slipping off my foot, which is making me walk funny. And I just kept telling myself, instead of beating myself up oh, you're so ruining this chance, I was I'm just, showing my personality, my sass, and keeping that smile on my face because dang it, I'm having a freaking good time. And one of the judges even, asked about the whole heel wearing thing. And, I was just honest with her, I'm not used to wearing heels. I've probably worn them maybe once in my life, if ever. And she was like, honey, just take them off and walk for us, without them on. So she wanted to see, because obviously she had already seen something in me. It was just the walking in heels, was causing an issue. And I left there that day, not having a clue if I was going to be called as a model, because like I said, I was not exactly killing it. I was stumbling, but I got the email the next morning. It hadn't even been 24 hours. And I was like, holy crap, they actually want me to come do a fashion show and walk the runway. So I did that, and it was, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to put it into words, how empowering. For the first time instead of the body shaming and the negative comments, like you step out on that runway and you're being cheered and applauded for your body. Like it was so phenomenal. Like I get goosebumps thinking about that. Wow. But I did have a minor meltdown a few days before that very first show. And I was talking to one of the, I guess you would call her like the backstage director or something. But we were at the event venue and I'm having this breakdown and I'm crying. And one of the outfits that I was going to be wearing was this like fancy, like formal type dress. Totally not me. Like, so I was a little bit nervous about that. And I, was talking to her and I'm crying and I'm like, if you want to change the outfit, I'm totally comfortable with you putting me in like a sports outfit or something. Right. And there was this lady standing off to the side. And after I'm done having this minor meltdown and she picks me back up and, you're beautiful, you look amazing in that dress, you're going to do awesome. This lady approaches me and says, "Can I hug you?" And I'm like, "Yes." So she's hugging me, which is making me cry even more. And then she said something so like profound that it just like, it hit me in the heart so bad. She said, "Thank you. Thank you for being willing to step out on the runway and show other women like us that it's okay." And that was just like, that like reiterated the whole thing of what I'm doing is so important because other women need to know that it's okay. Our bodies are so okay and we can be okay and confident just as we are.
Wow, that is an amazing story. Tisha, I don't know if I will or would ever do the modeling thing.
Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, wow. That is really nice. But what's really good, and I want my audience to take that away, is that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone in a huge way.
Oh, yeah.
And just doing it anyway. And I love that. I love that. It is empowering. It's good to see, Tisha, that you decided. What you did was you really made a decision and you took back your power. You stopped letting what other people think and what other people say and what you see on TV and what society thinks and what the magazines say about what size you should be. You took all that back. You took your power back. I love that. Yeah,
I did. And because for so long, I let my body and my weight stop me from living my life. Mm-hmm. Aside from like the plus size modeling, I've done that. I've taken a dance class. I have tried pole dancing. Like I literally am pushing myself so far out of my comfort zone because for so long I was so afraid to try those things. I've done kayaking, which is not a very fat-friendly sport at all. But yeah, it's just, I have taken back my power. And now that I realize it's okay to be comfortable and confident in my skin, regardless of what everybody around me or society thinks, like I'm just as much of a person as anybody else out there. So there's no reason that I can't be doing, the dance classes and all the things that, chubby girls shouldn't be doing. So it is super empowering to be trying those things that, I didn't think that I could ever do.
That's nice. Tisha, I have signed up for a pole dancing class about 3 times and canceled.
Oh no, just go do it. I'll tell you what, it's totally awkward, but it's so much fun. Oh my gosh.
I am. You've encouraged me to do that. I'm going to do it. Wow.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yes. So your podcast that's coming out, what is the audience? Tell us exactly what you're looking for in case there are women out there who are listening and want to definitely be a part of your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for asking. So the podcast is called the Your Shining Self podcast. And I touched on it a little bit. I'm going to be interviewing women. And I don't want to say interviewing because I don't like that. When it comes to us sharing our stories, I don't feel like it's an interview. We're
Right.
just having conversation.
Right.
So I'm going to be having conversation with women. Maybe they have struggled with alcohol addiction, drug addiction. Oh my gosh, there's so many addictions out there, shopping addictions, food addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody that has struggled with that and is now living like a sober life. Women that have, maybe been through divorce and are raising kids on their own. Oh my gosh, there's so many different stories that I want women to share. And then it doesn't even have to be something like horrific, like sexual abuse or rape or something like that. It could even be a woman that, was like petrified of public speaking, but had this amazing story that she wanted to share. So she faced that fear of public speaking to be able to step on stage or something like that. So I don't want women to think if they haven't been through something horrific that they don't have a story to share, because I call BS. I think we all have a story to share.
Yes.
So yeah, a wide range of the different types of women that I'm looking for.
Very nice, Tisha. I'm going to apply to be on your show. I have a story to share, and it was a story that I kept hidden for many, many, many years, and I have just gone through a process where I've embraced that story and have been able to share it. So I'm going to be on your show. I know I am.
I can't wait.
Yes.
I want to hear this.
And I think what you're doing is really good, because a part of the healing and recovery process, especially when you have something that's happened to you, like an addiction or something traumatic, a part of the healing and recovery in that is being able to acknowledge it, embrace it, and share it with someone else. And when you're able to impact someone else's life from what you share, it just helps with your healing and recovery even more.
Yes, I so agree with that. And somebody once told me that when you can share your story and not cry, you're ready to share your story. And so for the longest time, I was like, I'm not ready to share my story because I still get emotional when I talk about a lot of the stuff. But I've just embraced the fact that I'm an emotional person. So when I'm sharing my story, there are times that I still get teary-eyed or cried, and that's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
And Tisha, I was thinking that this morning. I said, oh my God, Tisha's going to be on my show, and I know she's going to cry, and she's going to make me cry. And that'll be the first time I cry on my show.
Well, I'm glad that I did not cry, and therefore that I did not make you cry. I have shared my story so much over the last 4 days because I did a show yesterday, and then I was interviewed for a book project on Friday. So I feel like, yeah, I'm so excited about that. I feel like I have shared so much over the last couple days that I'm just becoming immune to the crying because it's been so frequent over the last couple days. So thankfully I did not cry and, be all on camera with crying eyes.
Now, you have that amazing journey where you were an alcoholic and you have been sober for 5.5 years. Mm-hmm. What would you say to someone who's struggling with that right now or some other addiction? And alcohol and drug addiction, like you said, aren't the only addictions. There's so many of them. Like at one point, I had a spending addiction so many years ago. And then, recently I had a sugar addiction that I had to give up. And in each of those different kinds of addictions, there may not be a 12-step process for giving up spending, but it is a process. All of it is a process. So what would you say to someone listening right now?
There's so many. What a great question. Thanks for asking it. There's so many resources out there. I'm going to obviously go back to the AA because that's just my thing. But I was in a very, very small town, so there weren't as many resources available as there are in larger towns. But even if you're afraid to reach out and walk through the doors of an AA meeting or a Narcotics Anonymous meeting or a Gambling Anonymous meeting, an OA, Overeaters Anonymous. If you're afraid to step foot in person through the door, check online. Oh my gosh, just do like a Google search for AA meetings or AA online meetings. Like there's so many resources available. And one of the other things that I did, not only was I in outpatient, oh my gosh, my dog, I should,
Okay.
sorry. Not only was I in outpatient, alcohol addiction treatment, I was working with a counselor. So somebody like maybe even a pastor, counselor, somebody, there's so many resources out there. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed to reach out and ask for help, because until you are able to admit that you need help and are willing to reach out, nothing's going to change. And I just really want to encourage people that this is nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be embarrassed about. We all have struggles. Some of them are obviously, worse than other struggles, but we all struggle. And even, if you want to find me online, I may not be able to help you individually, but I can probably point you into the direction of some resources or something. So I want people to know that I'm always available to reach out to also.
Yes. And that was great advice, Tisha. And a good segue into how to find Tisha. She's at really simple, shiningself.com. And I will have her website and all of her information on the podcast page. She's also on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be able to find her there. I have her information. Definitely reach out if you'd like to have someone to talk to.
Are you sick and tired of making plans that never, yes, never get finished? Hey, Kimberly Wiggins with Inspired Women, Amazing Lives. When you look back at your 2019 and see so many unfinished projects, do you wonder if the future will be any different? Newsflash, same actions will get you the same results. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that you are amazing at starting. Now you just have to get as good at finishing. You with me? So are you ready to move from starter to finisher? I'm offering you the opportunity to finish off 2019 like never before, so you can look back and finally see the results you really want. Not another year of woulda, shoulda, coulda. If you're willing to devote yourself to at least 10 hours of nose to the grindstone, laser beam focused, butt kicking action to your business dreams, I stand ready to provide you with the kind of radical support that will make all the difference. Check out my Rise and Grind accountability program at inspiredwomenamazinglives.com/rise and grind. Let's shift things for your life and business before 2019 is over. Mention that you heard this ad on my podcast for 50% off. Yes, 50% off the Rise and Grind accountability program investment.
All right, so that was a perfect segue into Tisha's free gift and where to find Tisha. And so you'll be able to find her. I have all of her information for her website and her social media, and she has a free gift that she is sharing with you, and it's a self-limiting beliefs ebook journal. So that's really nice. We've always got that talk going on in our head. And so that's nice, very nice. Now, Tisha, I want to cover just a couple more things with you, and our interview time together will be all done. I'm sad already.
And now I can talk to you all day.
So now you talked about a funny thing. I asked her to share a funny thing with me, and she said she did not like having breadcrumbs in her butter.
Yes, I hate it for whatever reason. It just like it almost grosses me out. Like, and I don't know where this came from or how it like happened. I just remember one day, and I'm guessing it was probably at my grandma and grandpa's, but I was younger and I went to get butter to make a sandwich, and there was just all these crumbs in the butter, and I was like, no, that's just gross. So ever since then, sometimes I have to have my own little stick of butter.
That's funny. Okay. So there you have it. That's it. That's her funny thing. And one of your favorite motivational quotes was something that was like just really, really, really good. And here it is. It says, there is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky. And you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? By Erin Hansen. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, that still like just gives me goosebumps every time I hear it because, you know, for so long I just lived my life not doing the things that I wanted. I was, you know, like I had mentioned earlier when we were chatting, you know, I let weight hold me back, but it was so much more than that. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of, you know, what do other people think? And then, you know, what if I do try and fail? Who cares? What's the worst, you know, that happens? Really nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but what if I fly? Like that's just, you know, oh, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, that's a really nice one. I'm going to steal that one. Now, before we go, Tisha, we're about to wrap up. If you could leave my audience, just share one amazing tip with them that they can take away and put into action today.
One amazing tip. So I'm going to go back to like the body positivity thing. If there is something about your body that you don't like, and I very rarely have ever talked to a woman that has not had something that they don't like. Yeah. So if there's one thing you don't like, I want you to go look in the mirror, and it's not easy because I've been there, done that, but I want you to go look at your body, whatever it is, in the mirror, and I want you to just find something to be grateful for about that part. So for example, for me, I carry, well, not like you can see, but I carry a lot of my weight in my belly. My belly is full of stretch marks. I mean, oh my gosh, my belly has been like the one thing that I've always just hated the most. So for me, when I was doing this journey, and I started from my face and just worked all the way down, when I got to my belly, I had to spend, oh, Gary, stop barking. I had to spend a lot of time, but it just started that I would look at my belly and look at it, and I would be, thank you. I am so thankful for this belly of mine that is flabby and full of stretch marks, but it let me carry a child for 9 months. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is, you know, if you don't like your smile, start with that. Stand in front of the mirror and smile and say, I love my smile. Thank you for my smile. So just start small and keep saying that every single day until you can actually believe it when you say it, because it will happen.
Very nice, Tisha. I love that. I know it's, you know, I think every woman has some belly issues. That's my issue, the belly issue. So I'm going to start embracing my belly instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I just wish it were different. You know, I'm going to start embracing it. I think that's a really, really good point. You know, it allowed me to carry my children. All those stretch marks really tell that tale. And so, yeah, I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was great having you here today. What you are doing is so commendable, and it takes a lot of courage and bravery to do that. And I just want you to know that, you know, hey, you're one of my sheroes. So,
thank you so much. And thank you for having me. It was, you know, wonderful to chat with you. And I just really hope that, you know, your listeners get something out of this, because I think it's so important, everything that we talked about today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tisha. Thank you, audience, for tuning in to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast. And remember to like, share, and comment on this podcast. Share with a woman that inspires you or one that you would like to inspire. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast, where we help women to be truly inspired to live their most amazing lives. Please subscribe to the podcast to be notified of new content every week. Please like, comment, and share with the woman who inspires you most or someone that you would like to inspire. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.